Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. So Yash, Prabhu, Prabhu, I will share the Vigyapti Panchika prayers because I was looking at the recording and I noticed that because you're reading it off of the internet, right, out of the browser, so it shows a lot of banners on the top, open in Google Docs and all that stuff, right? Unless, so maybe for tomorrow, what you can do, you can download and then show it from your local previewer, like that.
Okay, I can do that quick.
You can do that today? Okay, so let's do that. That'll be one less thing for me to do. And we have Smriti Mataji, and she will not be speaking.
Okay.
She won't be talking, okay? So just give me a second here while I try my luck at Facebook today. Hare Krishna, Danvat Pranams, devotees. I'll be right back with you.
Hare Krishna, Mother.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, those of you who are watching us on Facebook, as well as those of you who are on Zoom, welcome to a beautiful Monday morning where we will start our Bhagavad Gita readings, but we will do that after we have done with our Vigyapti Panchika prayers. So, Suyash Prabhu, whenever you're ready, then we will get going and we will start reading from the Vigyapti Panchika prayers. There.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Vaishana Mataji, Dandat Pranams, Jai Prabhupada. Okay, are we ready to go, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Sutapa, Dandat Pranams.
I have shared, Mataji. Is it visible?
You share it? Okay, good. Om Ajnanatimrandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Matsamo nasti papatma na paradhi cha kaschana parihare pilajame kim bruve purushottama yuvati nam yatha yuni yunam cha yavuto yatha mano bhi ramate tadvan mano me ramatam tvai bhumau skhalita padanam भूमिरेवावलम्बनं त्वयि जातापराधानां त्वमेवा शरणं प्रभु गोविन्दा वल्लभे राधे प्रार्थये त्वामहं सदा त्वदीयं इति जानातु गोविन्दो मां त्वया सह राधे वृन्दावनाधीशे करुणामृतवाहिनी कृपया निधपाजाब्जा दास्यं माह्यं प्रदीयताम्. Okay, Suyash Prabhu, can you give us the reading order for today? And while you're giving us, I would like to welcome Divyangi Mataji, Ankit Vora Prabhu, and Vidyavadhu Mataji and Neha Mataji was watching us on Facebook.
So Varshana Mataji, Priti Radhika Mataji, Shashisheka Prabhu, Victoria Mataji, Suruji Mataji, Divyangi Mataji. Did I miss anyone? Yeah, Suyash, Manasi, Sutapa Mataji, and Shraddha Mataji.
Okay. So I need to remember that.
No, and Khyati Mataji.
read today.
Okay.
I've put in chat. I can't read today.
Hare Krishna, Suresh Prabhu. Me and my Prabhu has also joined.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Mataji.
No problem, Prabhuji.
I'll share the reading order on chat quick. Just a minute.
No,
Yeah.
Victoria won't be able to read. It's just me.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Sashi Shekhar Prabhu, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Good to see you on the call.
Very grateful to be on the call. Thank you.
There you go. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna. Whenever the list is there, just get started with the first translation, please.
Yeah, I have shared. Varshana Mataji, can you please start? Oh.
Varshana Mataji, are you on mute?
Yes, Mataji. O Purushottama, no sinner or offender is as bad as I am. How can I describe my shame? Just as the minds of young ladies take pleasure in young men, and the minds of young men take pleasure in young women, kindly let my mind take pleasure in you alone. Hare Krishna.
Just as the ground is the only support for those whose feet have slipped, you alone are the only shelter for those who have offended you.
Sorry, I was on mute. O Srimati Radharani, O Queen of Vrindavan, you are river flowing with the nectar of mercy. Please be kind to me and give me a little service at your lotus feet.
Did we skip one?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm on the phone right now. Do you want me to read that one?
Maybe the next in line can read.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No problem.
O Srimati Radharani, beloved of Lord Govinda, this is my request. May you and Lord Govinda consider me one of your assistants.
All right, good. So we have done our Vigyapti Panchika with a new flavor today. So let's stop sharing this, and we'll share our reflections on what we captured in our psyche today. From
Hare
the
Krishna Mataji.
Yeah.
Matsamo nasti papatma na paradi cha kaschana parihare pilajjami kim bhruve purushottama.
All right, now tell us explain to us what you said.
Matsamo nasti papatma. I am the biggest sinner, and I have no shame whatsoever. Oh my dear Lord, Paradhi Chakashana, what is the meaning of it? Matsamapa. I'm Papatma, I'm a totally fallen soul, and I am shameful, and oh dear Lord, I am not understanding what is it, please.
Okay, so you gave us the essence, and now homework for you is to go back and look at the translation and attach the translation to the Sanskrit words. But let us give a round of applause to Varshana Mataji for memorizing that first verse. Hare Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else?
Bhumaskalita padanam, Mataji, that our feet are slipped from the
Alright.
ground.
So isn't it surprising that how these words are now getting into your Yeah.
mind.
Same.
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji, because we are listening to the recording every time.
Very good. Yeah, yeah. Actually, when you come and listen to a class, you retain certain amount of information, and obviously because our mind goes here and there, or there are distractions, or sometimes technology doesn't help us, so then we miss out on certain things. Or you've liked some point in the class, and you start thinking along that line, and by the time others have spoken something else, so there will be gaps in your listening. And so if you go and listen to the lecture again, there are two things that happen: that you catch with the gaps, and then you also catch up with your memory losses that will happen. Which, what that means is that you heard something, you captured it that day, and then it starts going away, fading away from the memory. So it has to be brought back again and again into the memory all the time. So when you are touching something in your mind several times, and it'll stay fresh in the memory. So after 1 week, about 30% of what you have heard goes away from your memory, like that. So just listening to it just helps, like that. Yeah. So good. Yeah. Thanks for that reflection, Satapa Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Ma. I just wanted to add that, since we are doing such a deeper dive and all the devotees are churning and sharing their reflection, so it really helps to have our reflection written in that reflection Google Documents, because later on we can go and look at the chapters and everybody's reflections, and it will be so nice.
Thank you for bringing up. And I did not pay her to say that, but this was something I wanted to bring up. That how many of you are filling the reflections document?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
How many?
Are you filling the reflection document for every verse?
Yes, yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji.
Yeah, I missed the last week, but I would do it.
Each and every verse?
Each and every verse, only yesterday's verse I have to fill.
Very
I've
good.
done everything.
Yeah, yeah. So try to bring it into your rhythm, like I do this, I do this, I do this, and I do this also. I do that, right? Because another reflection is another way that you will be recalling it. And once you write it down, it gets manifest, then it'll be like, oh yeah, I wrote there, and it's there. And looking at the reflections is also a quick way. The reflections are there on the website for you, right? So it's also a quick way for you to go and quickly see, right? And read, because eyes work faster than the ears, right?
Yeah.
Trying to listen to an hour lecture versus just going straight away over there. There's no fast forward, and those kind of things are not there that you have to do in the audio, like that. So written word
And in fact, Mataji, when I read everybody's reflections, I get to know their point of view also. So it makes better.
Exactly. Yeah. And Vidyavadhu Mataji is saying, Twameva Sharanam Prabhu. That's her reflection. Yeah, thank you for sharing that reflection. And my respects to Rakim Prabhu, Dilip Bhai Patel Prabhu, and Rinku Mataji from Atlanta is there. And Achyuta Radhe Prabhu joined us here. And of course, Vidyavadhu and Neha there. Awesome. Okay. So, any other reflections? Any other things that you want to share? And welcome Garima Mataji to the call as well.
Karunamrit Vahini,
Karunamrita Vahini.
River of Mercy.
Very nice. River of mercy. Yeah. Sometimes we need mercy, right?
Lot.
Sometimes.
You always need mercy.
Yes, all the time. Yeah, we need the mercy all the time. Okay, so let's get going with Bhagavad Gita today. And so we will start with reading, and maybe we can just find where we are in the reading order.
Yeah, Mataji, I would.
You are stated to read? All right, let's make my computer ready for to read. Sorry? Say that again, Mataji. Okay. Now, are you trying to say something to me? Because I can hear faint voices, but I don't understand. Sutapa, are you ready?
Yeah, okay, Mataji.
Okay.
Observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? Sanjay said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words.
O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. Here in this army are many heroic women, equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna, great fighters like Yudhana, Virata, and Drupada.
There are also great heroic, powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chekitana, Kashiraja, Purujit, Kunti Puja, and Shaibhya. There are mighty Yudhyamanyu, the very powerful Uttamauja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters.
But for your information, O best of Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwatthama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta called Purishrava, who are always victorious in battle.
There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons and all are experienced in military science. Our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the son of the strength of the Pandavas carefully protected by Bhima is limited. Your turn.
All of you must now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhan joy.
Text 13. After that, the conches, trumpets, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on the great chariot, drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conches. Hare Krishna.
Lord Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panchajanya, Arjun blew his, the Devadatta, and Bhim, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch shell called Pondra. King Yudhishthir, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Ananta Vijaya, and Nakul and Sahadev blew the Sughosha and Mani Pushpaka. That great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikhandi, the Drishtadum, Virat, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupad, the sons of Draupadi, and others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells.
The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. At that time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in the military array, Arjun then spoke to Krishna these words. Next, please.
Sorry, Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight, and with whom I must contend in this great show of arms. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra.
Sanjaya said, O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, Just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here.
There Arjuna could see, within the midst of the armies of both parties, his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers in law and well wishers. Then the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives. He became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus.
Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my bow gandiva is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning."
I am now unable to stand here any longer. I'm forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune, O Krishna, killer of Kasi Damon. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness.
O Govinda, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three words, let alone this earth. What pleasure will be derived from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen?
O Janardana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion.
Hare Krishna. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Rashni, comes unwanted progeny. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. Hare Krishna.
By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell.
Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts. Driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield.
Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief.
Okay, we finished reading the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita today, collectively as a team here on Zoom. And among all others, there were some new devotees who joined us. Sharnagata Mataji, Adi Yagya Prabhu, and Rajkishore Prabhu. Thank you for joining. And I'm going to collect reflections here on what you heard from the first chapter. And those who are on Facebook, you can type in your reflection there as well. There's a little bit delay in between Facebook and Zoom, so I might be a little behind in picking up your reflections. But nevertheless, let's go. Anything you heard?
Arjuna with compassion said following verses, and then he gave multiple reasonings.
Reasoning. Okay, good. So very nice way of presenting a reflection. Arjuna, you have the key. You told us the key point, compassion, and then you told us the other verse also. We need to cover those. Okay, good. What else?
We heard about greed. Sorry, no, Mataji, please go ahead.
So the army of Dhritarashtra, they were there only to please Duryodhana.
Okay, good. Good observation. Madarte tyakta jivita. They're ready to lay down their lives for me. Okay. Yes. Anything else?
Mataji, we heard.
Sorry, Mataji, go ahead.
We heard about greed, Mataji, over here in these verses.
Okay.
The greed of accumulation of everything.
Okay. So who's talking about greed? Arjuna. Yes, good. Yeah. Arjuna. Okay.
So Dhritarashtra comparing his army as an immeasurable, and while Pandavas as protected with Bhima is limited.
Is limited. Yes. Immeasurable and limited. Yeah. Limited and unlimited.
And the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra were shattered by the blowing of conch shell.
Yeah, heart shattered. Yeah. You remember that sound when a glass falls on the ground?
I was thinking about right now, recently only we had Narsimha Dasi, right? So whenever good vibrations are there, all the evil goes away.
Yes. That's why it's important to start the day with good vibrations. Yeah. Achyuta Radhe Mataji is telling us that it seems that Duryodhan is overconfident when he says that our army is stronger than the Pandavas. So overconfidence. That's a very nice point that you bring up. Yeah. How would we apply that in our lives? This observation.
When we are doing something, we don't think that we have achieved this. I think yesterday Guru Maharaj Vaisheshka Prabhu was also talking about this in the lecture, right? Don't be complacent, but at the same time be attentive, because even the small overconfidence can lead us in a different direction.
Right. And there was a term that he used, razor sharp.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's not even like this. It's not even you're walking on your devotional service on something like this. It's like a blade.
Yeah.
That is there. Yeah. Razor sharp. And he was quoting from Srimad Bhagavatam, actually. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, in the sorry, go ahead.
Overconfidence is like when you rely on Krishna, it's not that bad. It's good overconfidence, I guess. But if you rely on your own, overconfidence is not really good.
Yeah. I would not put that in the term of overconfidence. I would say that as, putting your faith in the right place or confidence in the right place, right? Rather being confident of our own faculties, just surrender to Krishna, which Arjun did, right? And then draw upon that. Yeah, good point.
I just feel like also in the first, except for the first verse, it might sound like it's explaining it's a prelude to a martial description, like who all is there, what is there. But, after it outlines the setting in this chapter, how it expands broadly to a universal message that is, very important, like how it moves from one small military setting. So what I meant by that is, we too sometimes become disheartened, in admitting the perplexities of perplexities of life. And then similarly, Jonah is also perplexed with the life's adversities, but nonetheless, we can become determined by hearing Gita and realizing Krishna's unfailing love for us, for every living entity through Arjuna. So that's what I really like about this chapter, like how this is actually just the formation of the broader message.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't that the beauty? I mean, beauty of the literature, how nicely they had presented it. Yeah.
Also, the literature is also very poetic, just to how the message is very poetic too, which is pleasing to the ears as well.
Yes, yes. And one of you had pointed out, who was it? Yes, yeah. In the past few classes, you had pointed out that such a nice exchange that is happening, and which is he's calling. I think it was Preeti who said that. Calling Arjun says you do something, Madhusudana, and so they're calling each other with such sweet names like that, right? In this verse also, yeah, Partha, Madhusudana, Achyuta, like that. Ah, Smriti Bhattacharjee.
This chapter is so beautiful in the sense that, it shows us how Krishna is so great.
Okay, so Smriti
Hare
told
Krishna
me, yes,
Mataji, it was the
yeah,
view shows us how Krishna is the Lord.
yeah. So Smriti
He
had told me in the
is
morning
like,
that she's
he is
out in the, yeah, she's out. She's outside. She's not in a room. So obviously her connection is not nice. So that's why we are not able to hear her properly. But from whatever I gleaned, she's saying that how Krishna has been described as very great in this verse, in this chapter. I don't know, Smriti, if you have a chance, you can also, I don't know whether she's still with us or not on the call. Maybe she dropped off because of bad connection. So anyway, we have, she'll join us back, I know, Smriti. Then there's Garima is also telling us on the chat that Krishna and Arjuna's conch shell were considered to be transcendental. Yeah, so that transcendental connection is there.
Mataji, in the first verse, Dhritarashtra said that my sons assembled on the places of pilgrimage, desiring to fight. When you go to the pilgrimage place, you don't fight. So I saw like a big contrast over there.
Yeah, yeah.
Mataji, these days scientists, they really glorify themselves that we have achieved this and we have done this. And here Sanjay is sitting with Dhritarashtra and looking at everything without any gadget, and he is telling the whole this thing. So how advanced in past, how advanced they were, they could
Yes.
see everything.
Yes, yes. Very nice observation. What else? Welcome, Rohit Prabhu, to the call. Good to have you.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, try Smriti. Yeah.
Mataji. This is a beautiful chapter. Hare Krishna. Are you able to hear me in the reflection on email, Mataji? Sorry.
Yeah, we are not able to hear you clearly. Yeah, maybe you can text, you can WhatsApp me a reflection and I'll pick it up from there. Okay. So let's go and to verse number 39. And I think who is going to continue reading? Who did 46, verse 46?
Mataji.
Okay, continue.
Kulashaya prashanati kula dharma shanatana dharme naste kulam krishnam adharma vivate uta.
So kulakshe pranashyanti kuladharma sanatanaha dharme nashte kulam kritsnam adharmo bhavatyuta. Synonyms, please.
Kulakshay, in destroying the family. Pranashyanti, become vanquished. Kula dharma, the family traditions. Sanatana, eternal. Dharme, religion. Nashte, being destroyed. Kulam, family. Krishnam. How is it, Mataji?
Krit.
Okay,
Snam.
Kritnam. Yeah, Kritnam. S is silent.
No. Kritsnam.
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 Whole. Adharma, irreligion. Abhibhavati, transforms. Uta, it is said.
With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion.
Purport. In the system of
Varnashrama.
In the system of the Varnashrama institution, there are many principles of religious traditions to help members of the family grow properly and attain spiritual values. The elder members are responsible for such purifying process in the family, beginning from birth to death. But on the death of the elder members, such family traditions of purification may stop, and the remaining younger family members may develop irreligious habits and thereby lose their chance for spiritual salvation. Therefore, for no purpose should the elder members of the family be slain.
Haribol.
Right.
Okay, so let's go deeper into this verse today. And Kathy, you were talking about the television, and Rohit Kumar is saying on Facebook that it's a transcendental television that Sanjay was showing and Raj was watching. So
Varshana Mataji was saying that.
Varshana was saying, okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so go ahead. It's reflection time. Let's catch the reflections. Anything you heard? Anything that stuck in?
So just from the translation itself is like that came to my mind that Arjun is like, if you read his compelling arguments by itself, it's like a wise person speaking. But when we read it in connection, that oh, he's overtaken by love for the relatives and attachment to the relatives, then we realize that oh no, the right order for him to was to follow Krishna's desire. So he was talking about like community projects destroyed and all that.
Also, just looking at the translation, how it says that eternal family relation is vanquished. If something is eternal, how can it be vanquished? Right? So it shows how he's overpowered by illusion at this point, like how Krishna has really set up the scene here, that his word itself is contrasting. Something he's saying family tradition is vanquished, which is eternal. It's not. If eternal, it's not vanquished. So basically, that's what
that when we are bewildered, we will speak nonsense.
Yeah.
Mataji, you had given the acronym for mind, right? Which says magnifies fear.
A problem. Yeah.
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 So that actually is applicable in this situation. Mataji,
Yes.
can you repeat that again?
Mind. Okay, we'll repeat it together. Mind was magnifies problems. I was
intensifies
imagines pleasure.
Imagines pleasures.
Imagines pleasures.
What was N?
N for
neglects opportunities.
Neglects opportunities. Mataji, only 10% remaining. Only one. Hardly anything remaining in our memory.
So thank you, Kathy, for bringing up that question, because that kind of re-emphasizes what I was talking about, right? And these stands for denies the reality.
Denies reality.
Right? MIND. So one of you can type it there on the chat window, and that way we will know, right?
Mataji.
And this was actually brought up by Chaitanya, our super genius Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. Yeah, it's his brainchild, not mine. I wanted to clarify that. Yeah.
Sorry, Mataji, you got broken in the past 20 seconds. Can you please?
Was it?
Or my connection?
Sorry. I was just attributing that to Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, the acronym. I was saying it's not my brainchild. For life of me, I can't come up with acronyms. Okay, so
I have a question on this one. When he says Kula Dharma is eternal, Kul Dharma means the family duties, right? Bro, can you mute? Kathy Mataji?
Yeah, sorry.
I was saying Kula Dharma is not it. Kula Dharma means family responsibilities, right? Is that true? Like one's
Yes.
responsibility to one's ancestor. Like when you
Yes.
during 1 month when you go and throw the pigeons, like
All that.
Siddha, yeah. So that thing is not eternal, or is it? Like I'm kind of confused. Is it like devotees also have to do that? Like once when someone takes Krishna's shelter, when one starts following Bhakti Dharma and not Kula Dharma. I mean, Bhakti Dharma is above Kula Dharma, right? Like above your family duties, there is, which of course includes taking care of family. It's not that, but Kula Dharma is not Sanatan, correct?
Well, that's a very nice point that you bring up about Sanatan, right?
Yeah.
Sanatan means eternal. If you look at the spelling there, it means eternal, right? And then you pointed out that if he's saying, number one, if he's saying that Kul Dharma Sanatana, then how can it be vanquished? Right? So that statement is on the face of it, it looks like it is a different, how can it be vanquished? So on the face of it, it looks like it's a wrong thing that we are talking about, right? So,
Yeah.
and then also on that part, there's another comment that I can make is that if you know that it is something that's going to be vanquished, why are you worrying about it? Like for a moment, if you think that that it is going to be vanquished, then why are you worrying about it, right? And then Kul Dharma Sanatana, if we take the meaning that it is eternal, right? Then how can you say something as eternal for something which is not eternal, which is the kula, right? So the family dies. So how can you say the family is eternal, right? What the family is doing is eternal. How can we say that, right? Actually, later on in Bhagavad Gita, we will come across prakriti, karma, and a few things like that. And they say this is eternal, that is eternal. Time is eternal. All of them are out of these, this is not eternal. So it's like prakriti. So when you use the word eternal is a very loaded term. And so sometimes when a thing repeats over and over again, right? It's a cyclical thing and the cycle repeats over and over again, then you will say that it is eternal, right? So for example, my great-grandfather followed the Kul Dharma and then he died, but then his son, my grandfather, followed the same thing again. So that way the dharma is still continuing across the various generations. So from that perspective, you can say that it is eternal. For example, sometimes people say prakriti is eternal.
Mm-hmm.
Time is eternal, right? Only thing that is not eternal is karma, because your karma can be vanquished. So a person might say, well, doesn't Krishna say bhutva bhutva praliyate in chapter 8? He's going to tell us that you know that there is things are created and things are destroyed. We are constantly saying that this world, material world, is temporary. Then why are we saying prakriti is permanent, right? Eternal. So when we are looking at it from a different perspective, we are saying, okay, it's a cycle. It gets produced, shapes are formed, and then it goes back, becomes Mahatattva. Again, shapes are formed, and then they die. So this whole cycle is going on over and over and over again. We do not know from when it started. We do not know when it's going to end. So that way, it's an eternal thing. So similarly here also, when he's using the term Kul Dharma, he's like, this is eternality. And then, so we can look at it, and different acharyas will look at it in different ways, that, what we are talking about that. Also think about this about Kul Dharma. And he's saying Kul Dharma is Sanatana. Now, in this birth, I can be born as a human being. And the next birth, I'm born as an animal. I won't have any dharma there. Animals don't follow the dharma, right? Or they might follow just a little bit of the family dharma, that you have kids, so you take care for some time at least of your kids, right? How two birds you will see, right? They go and build a nest, they know how to do it. So they are following a little bit of the dharma. They will protect their kids, but after some time, that dharma is over till they have a fresh batch of children. So they do follow that a little bit, but not from the, from the devotional perspective like that. They don't do it. But okay, then I can come back in the body of a Shudra. So my own Kul Dharma also changes. You see, it changes. It is not fixed. I'm not a Brahmana always, I might not be a Brahmana always, like that. Go ahead.
Cool. No, I'm just saying, like, that means the kul is not eternal. That means that statement is false.
Exactly.
Kul is not eternal.
Yes. I mean, you can look at it from various ways, and you can emphasize it in various ways, right? So, and like you pointed out, that since the dharma can change from this life to that life, but one thing, and you said that Krishna Dharma is really Sanatan, because Bhagavad Gita 240 says that Neha bhikramo nasosti pratyavayana vidyate sualpam asya trayata bhayato mahat. So it says that even if you do a little amount of devotional service, then it gets carried over. That is Sanatana. That is Sanatana. It might get dormant because we are wired. The souls are designed like that to do devotional service, right? So it might get dormant at some point in time. Like we might not do any devotional service, but if you do, then it gets added to your bank balance, and then in the next life you start from that particular point, like
It's
that.
wonderful explanation. Also, I feel like you mentioned, the animal might not be following any dharma, but they are actually following one dharma, Krishna dharma. They are living out their karmas, right? So kul dharma might not be followed, but their karmas, is that true? Is that a good understanding that they are also following Krishna dharma in a way that they are living out their, uh, they're vanquishing their karma, they're burning out their karma? That
I would not use the word Krishna Dharma, because Krishna Dharma is usually for transcendental things and transcendental activities.
Mhm.
If you're living up, karma is material, right? It happens only here in the material world, right?
Mhm.
And yes, animals do, exhaust the karma. And I just wanted to point out also that animals do not accumulate karma,
Accumulate,
right? They won't accumulate it. They will just exhaust. So that body is just to exhaust and clear your backlog of whatever desires that you had or whatever things that you did. You exhaust that out. But yeah,
Cool. Thank you, Mataji.
yeah, you're welcome. So there are various ways that you can look here. And Srila Prabhupada said Kul Dharma Sanatana. So he's talking about the cyclical thing, that it is really Sanatana. He's kind of going with what Arjuna is saying, but then it does get destroyed temporarily, like if people stop using it and stop applying it. So yeah, Kul Dharma Sanatana. So give us some examples of Kul Dharma.
Taking care of parents and children's.
Okay, taking
And
care of parents and children.
spouse. Yeah.
Spouse. Okay, yeah.
The head, the elders guiding the
Yeah.
family. So that is explained very nicely in the purport. One of the things actually I was thinking was he has so nicely explained why it is important that elders should not be killed. I mean, that is a very different perspective.
Isn't it?
Very valid.
Yeah. And what happens? Where was I reading? I was listening to some. Well, I don't have to go anywhere to listen because I saw it from my own eyes when I was growing up. And Vidyavadu, who's joining us, might remember that there was an overbridge that we had to use, and it was over the railway line, and so there was a road that went over it. And to reach a certain part of the city, we always had to go and cross this railway bridge. And on the bridge, there would be beggars. And so when people became old, their children would go and ask them to go sit there. And I used to feel very bad that, this is a very old person and they are begging out in the street. It is hot, it is cold, and things like that. How can they do that? And this is what you mentioned here, right? The importance of having old people in your home. But that doesn't happen. They become old, they throw them out. I was talking about somebody who was mentioning about another country, but I won't mention that country. But he said that when people became old, what the rest of the family would do is, just push their grandmother in front of a car that's going, in front of your house, just push them there. Yeah, like that. So this is Kali Yuga. Very bad things are happening. Very, very bad things. But it's very important to have elders. So yeah, and that is Arjuna's fear also, right? Dharme nashte. So what does he say there in the Sanskrit? He's saying kulakshaya panashyanti kula dharma sanatana. So if the family is destroyed. Now, I wanted to point out a few things about here, and that is that look at Arjuna. They both started. He and Duryodhan kind of started. Duryodhan started it first. But you did it. He started first without observing the armies in the battlefield. right? So he started observing here and there. He goes to his teacher and says, he's there, like that, he's doing that. And then Arjun says, oh yeah, go and put me in front middle of the army so that I can see who are there. These, like that he starts. So they are all looking at people who are present. And Duryodhan kind of just said, as one of you pointed out, that they are ready to give up their lives for me, and kind of predicting that they will die. And that's all. His vision was only that. Arjuna sees that. Arjuna's vision is a little bit more enhanced, because not only does he see military people there, he also sees Swajana, right? He sees my relatives, and then he's very magnanimous. He says, the Kauravas also are my Swajanas, right? He goes that. But then he's not only looking at the people who are there in the battlefield, he's also looking at those people who are not there in the battlefield. He's worried about the families. What's going to happen to their families if all the men over here are going to die? There are going to be so many widows, so many orphans will be created, right? He's worried about what's going to happen to them. And then his vision, and this is what we should learn when we are working on projects, when we are given a task to produce and do some project, we are more like, okay, I need to do this, and boom, 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 I need to show results, and I will get my bonus, my salary increase, and my promotion. And that's what we focus on doing that. We never look at the long range and long-term effect of that, right? Whether it's going to cause some problems to others, whether it'll be difficult to maintain this piece of software that I've created. And then, walking out of the software realm, if you go to other places, it can be even more dangerous. That, whatever method I'm using to produce something, is it going to cause damage to the mother nature? What kind of effect it's going to have for the future generations who are going to come? If I use too much of plastic nowadays, and if I bury all the plastic in the ground, what's going to happen 6 generations later? Arjuna is thinking. He's thinking about the kids who are not even born yet. Who's going to guide them, right? So these are the things from that we should learn from what Arjuna is going through, like that, right? So he says that kul dharma sanatana, and then he says dharme nashte kulam kritsnam adharmo abhibhavat uta, right? So here is the thing, dharmo nashte. So you have to see, it's a either or thing. If you don't have dharma, then adharma will come very quickly. It's a very powerful statement. There's no neutral. There's no neutral ground. It's either or. Either you engage your mind in Krishna. If you don't engage your mind in Krishna, it'll get engaged in Maya. Krishna Suryasam, Maya hai andhakar. Jahan Krishna taha nahi Mayera adhikar. So Krishna is like the sun, and Maya is like the darkness. And wherever there is Krishna, darkness cannot be there. But the moment you switch off the light, the moment you switch off the light in the night, how quickly darkness comes, right? So we have to remember that in our lives also, that if we stop doing our devotional practices, adharma will come very quickly. For example, you have got this nice routine, right? You are sitting here and you are attending this class. Tomorrow, if you decide not to attend this class, what are you going to do? If you don't do devotional service, you don't use the time for chanting or any other devotional practice, then you'll end up doing something material, because senses need engagement. You need that, right? And about adharma, Divyangi? Okay, so about adharma, we should be concerned about it. Actually, Krishna is also concerned about adharma, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where does he say that? It's a very famous verse. Yada yada hi abhyuthanam adharmasya, right? Tadatmanam sujamiham. So whenever there's an increase in religiosity, he will come. So he takes adharma very seriously. Krishna likes organized religion, right? So we have to keep this in mind, that we have to keep all these principles which are there. And there's a certain good thing, like maybe we might be in a family where people are not Krishna conscious, they don't discuss sastras the way we do, they don't have the complete thing, but at least they will teaching you certain basic minimum things. For example, wash your hands. Right? After you come back from some place outside, you should wash your hands. Right? If that is not told, then that's what people are finding it so difficult, coronavirus and all that, because they don't have that habit. Right? Whatever you wash your hand before you, yeah. Sorry.
They don't want to wash hand; they want to use sanitizer.
Yeah. And all the doctors are saying that best thing is soap and water, right? To do that. So we find it difficult. Don't wash your hands before you eat anything, right? I mean, I remember when I was growing up, it was kind of supposed to be not very good to be eating in front of others like that.
Yes.
Now, like we have this coffee thing, people are driving, you look around from your car, you see next person in the car is eating something, they've got a big burger, like that. So you need people to tell you about these things. So they will tell you these basic things like taking a shower in the morning, although they might even not tell you related to any religious thing. If they are telling you to, okay, get up in the morning and put a diya in front of it, that's fantastic. But even if they're not telling you that, even if they're telling you to wash yourself, then at least it takes you out of the mode of ignorance. A clean body is in the mode of goodness, like that, right? And satyam yad brahma darshanam. You have to go to the mode of goodness to be able to do devotional service. That's the minimum that you need to have there. So,
Hare Krishna, Mataji, can I say something?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, Mataji, when I was small, you see, we used to have a Brahmana who used to come at home. He was our Kul Brahmana. So he used to come home, and sometimes his wife also used to come. Mataji, they used to sit with us and talk to us and guide us what our ancestors had done. You see, they had the whole list of our ancestors.
Yeah.
They had the whole list of our ancestors, and they used to tell us that they were doing this, you are supposed to do this, these are the rules and regulations of the family, and you have to follow them, and you have to do that. So, Mataji, I mean, sometimes these things which were there, nowadays it is not there, but they really used to guide us, Mataji.
Yeah.
They were really acting like our ancestors only.
Yeah, Sachiteka Babu, you were saying something.
Mataji, after Mataji's point, it also reminded me of, we have a Kul Devi, and there in that temple, there is a tree maintained, our family tree. So we don't need ancestry.com to find out who our ancestors
Actually, ancestry.com doesn't tell you.
Yeah,
I tried that. Yeah.
So they maintain the tree, like even right now, I could go back and see my, at least the names.
Yeah.
I don't know what their activities or profession was, but
Yeah.
everyone goes there, like do some karma kandi activities, like to shave your head, first time the child is born, and then his name is written, and all that is still there. So it's amazing.
Yeah,
Also,
it's amazing how they maintain the database, right? Yeah, it's all in the head. Yeah.
Also, I was thinking, when you mentioned that, ancestors tell us that do it this way, do it that way. But doesn't that sometimes, I'll tell you about my example. There were like certain things people will tell, aisa mat karo, aisa mat karo. And that time, when you're a teenager, you kind of feel like, aisa kyun mat karo? Because, sorry, I should translate in English. Like, older people will say that, do like this, don't do like this. Sleep, keep your head in the north direction when you sleep. Don't keep it in the south, or keep it in the south, like that. But, when you don't get reasons for that, you actually lose interest in that, and then you start believing into that, okay, whatever they say, it's not right. They're just saying it, and then you become over smart sometimes. But then later on, I realized why to keep head in certain direction, because the earth's magnetic field runs from north to south, and it actually does not align with your body. So those kind of things are there. So it's always good that we find out reasons whenever we become elders, ancestors, and we should be having reasons to explain to the children, so that the tradition actually makes sense to everyone.
Yes, very rightly put. and I just wanted to add to that this is the effect of Kali Yuga. This is the effect of Kali Yuga, that children question. Earlier, children would not question. So parents said something, they would just follow it. And Prabhupada in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita also says that if you don't believe in Krishna, for the time being, you suspend your disbelief and just go along. And by the end of the Bhagavad Gita, you will realize and accept that Krishna is indeed the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, but nothing to be. So in this context, in today's context, when people are just, kids ask you questions, then you can imagine how much more important it is for us to gather the knowledge, because nothing else will satisfy them. They are inquisitive. They ask why, right? So that is why in the earlier ages, this kind of a knowledge was actually limited to the Brahmanas, because the Brahmanas are of a certain consciousness. That consciousness will, is obedience is there. So they will agree like that. That kind of a consciousness might not be there in the Kshatriya. They'll be like, okay, I don't like it. I'm going to do my own thing. I'll take out my sword and I will do my own thing. So there were reasons why this kind of knowledge was hidden. But then Kali Yuga, the rules are different because everybody is a Shudra. Knowledge becomes available to everybody. Nowadays you can see through internet, everything is there. And people can also self-publish, right? Earlier they would be like, okay, you want to write the Vedas, you need Vyasdeva to write it. But now anybody can go and write anything. And writing anything was fine. And talking to your friends and families or having a small group was one thing. Now we have internet. You can go and anybody can publish anything, anywhere. Through Facebook, Instagram, wherever. And that can mislead the people. But you'd have noticed that how there is such a great surge in Krishna consciousness, the ISKCON way. And the reason is these beautiful books that Prabhupada has written, where he has explained things. And the youngsters are taking to it because of this. Because they ask the questions, and if you don't get the answer. I was just talking to a Mataji on Saturday, and so she was reading and not understanding it. And I said, okay, come jump on a Zoom call. Let me show you Bhagavad Gita as it is. And I showed her. She said, oh, this word by word meaning, this is the first Bhagavad Gita that I'm seeing where you have given the word by word meaning. So, that's why we are so grateful to Prabhupada for doing what he did, right? And who is Prabhupada? Prabhupada is a Vriddha. Guru Vriddha Pitamaha. He's the older people. If you decide not to listen to older people, see what's going to happen. What is happening in those who don't.
Mataji, can I ask you something?
Yes, please.
Mataji, with the Arjuna was a little afraid of losing the elderly people. Means the afraid is also coming.
Was he afraid? Well, it was not fear. Fear was not a dominant emotion there in these verses. More dominant emotion is he's feeling compassion
and concerned.
Right? And concerned, yeah. He's a Kshatriya. He's not afraid. Like when the Gandivam was Samsate Hastad, when the Gandivam was slipping from his hand, he was trembling. And that trembling was not because of fear, because we can tremble from fear also, right? Prabhupada says that it was not trembling because of fear. He was trembling because of his emotions. He was overwhelmed with emotions of compassion. And that's why, yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, you're welcome. So,
Mataji, is Krishna's pastime of Ranchod when he leaves the battlefield and Jarasan keeps attacking? There is a lot of noise. Sorry. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because he's called Ranchod because he left the battlefield, Krishna himself, when he kept getting attacked by Jarasan, and all the residents of Gokul and Mathura were unnecessarily getting killed, a lot of them in the attack, and then Krishna flew away from the battlefield. Like he avoided the war there, right? Like for this very reason that there's absolutely no reason for us to be like, we can have a better city in Dwarka, let's have a better city and let's all get away from here. Also, it's the dharma of a Kshatriya. If someone challenges you, you have to give it back to him. I can't. How do we understand this transcendental activity of Krishna, that here he is asking Arjuna not to be a Ranchod, not to be the person who flee away from the battlefield, while he himself does that, and he asks other people around.
Yeah, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam, right? So he has to also think of the devotees. He's also think of the devotees. In the Ranchor one, Krishna through his pastime is trying to explain things to you that you have to act according to the time, place, and circumstances and the goal. And in that process, you have to also make sure that the good don't get annihilated, right? And so the key point that I take from that Ranchor activity is Krishna was not attached to the designation that I have to win all the time. He did not care whether people call him Ranchor or not. As long as you are convinced in your mind that this is for better good. So killing in the Mahabharata was for the better good. So it's Krishna to decide this is better good. He's the supreme personality of Godhead, right? He decided that for Mahabharata, he had already come planned, right, to kill. He says, Nimitta matra bhava sabashachin. You are an instrument, Arjuna. I've already decided. He sees that in the universal form. All of them are going to die, right? For Rancho, he's again trying to give another perspective of how to handle things. So that's why Gita is told that it's a manual of life, right? So sometimes you will give up, and by giving up, sometimes you win in a bigger way.
Also, it shows like how Krishna is really not insecure about his position. Like even like only he can adorn the name Ranchod,
Yes.
If someone has a little insecurity that like everyone except Krishna has, that that I might lose the battle, that's why I'm fleeing. But here Krishna can only adorn that. Okay,
adorn that,
call me whatever.
I don't
kind
care.
of.
Yes, that I'm sticking to the right thing. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Good. So so then if you lose the elders in the family, then there is a disorder in the family, right? So why do you need an elder?
To guide us, Mataji.
To pass the blessings, Mataji.
Say that again, Sutapa.
To pass the blessings, like
okay, blessing is one thing. Yes.
Experience.
Experience. I have been that, done that, and I can tell you what happens if you do this, right? And sometimes you'll also need an authority in the home, in the family, when there are dispute at the peer level. Two brothers are fighting. How to solve that problem? They're at the same level, right? They're brothers, they're peer level. So when there is a fight like that, then you have to go to a higher level to get those things solved. So if there is a vriddha there, there's an elder person there, then they will tell them, right? And so these elder people are going to guide you not only in the other things like property matters and all that kind of stuff. They are going to also guide you towards the religious principles, and that is very very important for us to get that kind of guidance. And there is certain science behind it, like as you were saying, Sashi Prabhu, that why your head should not be in this direction, head should be in that direction. There's a science behind it, which we might not know, and the science is getting lost, right? We are learning other kinds of sciences. The science can get lost there. And so, for example, if a child is born, right? If a child is born, nowadays the kids, what do they see? We don't need the parents there. We're going to handle the delivery ourselves, right? And then 2 days later, they will call their parents. I can't handle this baby. You come and help. Right? This happens most of the times these days.
So here comes Mataji. Sometimes you feel the strength to have someone like parents or grandparents to by your side.
Yes.
I feel all the time, Mataji, that the strength, blessings and experience is the other side, but I feel strength.
Strength, yes. You get that strength that there is my father-in-law tells a very interesting story. He says that there was a young man and he wanted to marry somebody. So he gathered some lady in the next village, and this young man was a very powerful man. And so he gathers his friends and they take a procession and they go to the village to ask for the girl's hand. And the girl's father sees all these young men and he's like, he's completely flabbergasted. So he says, no, I'm going to put you to a test. Now, when all these people were going there, when these boys were starting to talk, and this main hero who wanted to get married, when he was ganging up all together, there was an old man in their family. The old man said, you know what, you're getting married. I want to see your marriage. Please take me along. So they said, what? No, you're an old man. If the girl sees that old man there, she's not going to like it, that I have old people in my family. I'm not. So this man insisted, said, please, please, please. So he was like the Bhish Pitame of their family. So they said, okay, we are going to tie you up in a piece of cloth, like a guttery, like a ball. We're going to carry you, but don't ever dare to step out of that. And that, no. And at strategic points, we'll just let you out of that bag. So then they go there to the girl's parents, like I said, and the father said that, oh my goodness, all these young people, I don't know what's going to happen. So what he says was, okay, fine. These are 25 mounds, and a mound is like 5 shares, 5 kilograms of jaggery, gur. And so I have got 100 such things. And when you all eat it, there are 100 in your group. I have got 100 of these mounds of jaggery. And when you finish it, you can come and get married to this girl, my daughter. So they are all looking at this big mound and like, how am I going to even eat that much? I cannot. You can hardly eat this much of gur, right? Here is this big mound there. And so they are just worried, and this guy starts crying because, now he can't marry the girl he loves and things like that. And so then suddenly, there's a noise coming out from that bag of cloth, so the old man is struggling to say something. And so they let the old man out. And the old man comes on and says, okay, fine, why are you crying? And so this great grandson tells that this is what that man has asked us to do. This is an impossible task. He says, no. Let the 100, mounds of jaggery stay on one side, You just bring out one mound, like 5 kilograms at a time. 5 kilograms of that. You break it into small pieces. Like you have 5 kilograms of jaggery, it'll become this much pieces if you divide it into 100. And then he said, okay, each one of you just have a small piece. So each one of them eats that. And then he says, okay, bring the other one. So that way they break it up, and then they all eat everything. And then they are triumphant, they're very happy. And then the guy goes back again to the girl's father and says, yay, we have finished all that. We have finished all that. And then he says that I need to get married to your daughter. Now I'll get married to your daughter. So the father just says that, no, wait, one more thing. There is this river that flows behind my house. And my daughter always wanted that it should be a river of milk instead of river of water. So what I want you to do is to remove all the water and bring milk and put it there. And again, they are worried. Again, they go back to their father, to the great grandfather. And the great grandfather says, that's fine, and he whispers something into the ears of this young man. And so then the young man goes there to the future father-in-law, the girl's father, and he says, we are ready to remove all the water from the river. Just tell us where we should put it. And the girl's father doesn't know what to do. And then he bursts out laughing and he says, is there an old man in your group? Is there an old man in your group? So that's about, guidance from old people. They are wise, they are experienced, they know that. They will tell you. And Arjuna is cognizant of that, and he says that, like that, yeah. 7:41 on the watch. Time for that, yeah.
Mataji, I have a question, means not related with that verse, but you mentioned that in the morning, if we don't sleep at night, so the morning will be the mode of ignorance. Can you please give the logic?
Did I say that today?
No, not today.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I'm telling, that it's not related to today's verse.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I missed that. So you're saying that in the morning you will be in the mode of goodness, you will be in the mode of ignorance, and you are confused or asking the question that isn't morning supposed to be mode of goodness, right? How can I be in the mode of ignorance?
Yeah, no, right? You mentioned that if you don't sleep at night, then the morning will be the mode of ignorance.
In the morning, you'll be in the mode of ignorance because you won't have slept properly, right?
Yeah.
So let's understand mode of ignorance, modes of material nature. what does that mean? What does it mean when we say mode of material nature, right? So, in a nutshell, material nature and the modes of material nature means that everything in this material world will be in one of these three modes or a mix of these three modes. Everything. So, for example, the food that we eat, right? So there are gross things that you can see very clearly, right? Like meat is mode of ignorance, milk is mode of goodness, like that. So the gross things can be classified like that. Like I want to drink blood, mode of ignorance. Then what happens is that then there are subtle things as well. For example, there is literature in the mode of ignorance. There is literature in the mode of goodness. And then there is transcendental literature, like that. Then words that you speak, it's subtle, can be in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. Thoughts that you have, goodness, passion, ignorance. Right? And when things come in contact, then they will acquire the modes. For example, if you put alcohol inside your body, then the body cells will go into a particular, condition, right? So sleep is required by the body to come for the body cells and the body organs to come to a certain level, rejuvenate, come to a certain level and perform certain activities. Right? If you don't do that, then the cells will get fatigued and they won't be able to perform. So if you don't sleep well, then in the morning, your bodily functions will be, retarded and less, which will take you to the mode of ignorance. So if you are, and then it'll have a effect. It'll have a domino effect. You did not sleep well in the night. Now the body is not rejuvenated enough. So the mind is not able to think clearly. Eyes are not able to open. So what scripture will you read? Right? So you'll say, okay, come on, I'll do that tomorrow. You sit down to chant. The tongue is also tired. You're not chanting the things properly. Now, because of not chanting the things properly, you'll go into further ignorance because nama prad is happening like that. So it's a combined thing that'll happen. And then people might think, oh, let's go and have a coffee to remove all this. And then the addiction starts. Like that.
Thank you, Mataji.
But if you sleep nicely, then your body is all nicely, rested. You're ready to go. And then you go and read some good literature that has its good effect on you. Then you want to go and do something much better. Your intelligence gets purified. And then it comes to making choices between what should I have for breakfast? Should I have scrambled eggs or should I have an apple? You will make the right decision. So that mode of goodness will continue. But then what also happens is that during the day, these are not the only things that affect you. Planets also affect you. Well, Shishika Prabhu was talking about that in one of the recent lectures. He said the planet, graha means to grab. The planets are grabbers. They grab you, right? And they have effect on you. The moon has effect on us, right? So all these things have got effect on us. And that's why he was saying, Krishna is also a planet. He says you grab the Krishna planet. That's the planet. Go for that planet. Let that planet grab you. Like that. So as you progress during the day, the atmosphere also changes. There's more magnetism that is produced there, which takes you to the mode of passion. So during the day, that's why everybody goes to office and does work and things like that. Then in the night, they tell you to sleep because number one, you have exhausted your body. Number two, the darkness has got some effect on you. The darkness will make you think dark thoughts. So it's better to sleep, not act on those thoughts.
Can I ask one question, Mataji?
Yes, sure, Prabhu. Yeah.
Mataji, on the name of restful sleeping, people oversleep, right? It's not a problem to not to be have good night's sleep. It's problem of oversleeping. Also, like a brahmachari, not a brahmachari, but a devotee should be sleep like a dog, right? That he should not be such deep in a very deep mode of ignorance. How do we explain like oversleeping? How do you how do we understand it? Like oversleeping versus
There is
when this
yeah, there is a verse in Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter that we're doing in our other class, and we finished that a few weeks ago. We did that. It talks about that there should be a balance. Yukta hara viharasya, yukta chetasya, karmashu, yukta sapna bodhasya. So he's also saying, and Prabhupada in his lecture on that verse, he explains and he says that if you oversleep, right, then what happens is you start dreaming. And when you start dreaming, because you think that it's the reality, I mean, not that this is a reality, but still, compared to this, you think that that dream is a reality, and you live it even longer. So when you sleep more, then you dream more, and when you dream more, then you sleep even more, like that. So one of the things about sleeping is that they say try to tuck in more hours. Varshana, are you here listening to this? You tuck in more hours before midnight. Try to tuck in more hours before midnight.
I wanted to tell Sutapa also that when I sleep early at night, I chant properly in the morning. And if I sleep late, my chanting is, half sleep, half chanting. So that way it gets affected. Yes.
Yeah. I'm just looking at Facebook here. Arjuna is looking at the long-term ill effect of war. Dharma will be replaced by adharma soon. Yeah, Vidyavadut says that. And welcome, Vinu Koli Mataji and Nikunja Mataji. Nice to have you on the call. Yeah. So follow the Shastras, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Life will be easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, just to close this very nice topic on, and thank you for making it so interactive, for this nice topic on why we need the people to guide us. And the bottom line there is what Vaishnav Prabhu said yesterday, that if you are roaming around in a human body, you have no other business than to do devotional service. And to have elders to guide you is the best possible thing that you can have. And Arjuna is thinking about that. Okay, so with that, can I take your permission?
Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, I offer my obeisances to all the devotees here and unto your feet, unto your lotus feet, man. Today is my birthday. I enter 70th year of my life. I just request you to pray for me that I chant properly, study the scriptures, believe only in Krishna and only in Krishna and Radha Krishna. That's all. That's what I want you to pray for me.
We will all pray to, yes, we'll all pray to Sri Radha Madan Mohan, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lakshmi Narasimhan Prabhu, that our dear Varshana Mataji, she first gets into the habit of sleeping properly. And as a result of that, please Krishna grant her that she does her chanting properly, and that she when she took the initiation, she had said that she's dedicating her body, mind, and soul to her spiritual master. And I want her to remember that everything now belongs to the spiritual master, and she should follow the instructions of the spiritual master on devotional service and focus on wherever he asks her to focus her attention on. Thank you for considering our request.
Thank you so much.
Krishna
to you.
Hare Krishna to you. Hare Krishna,
dear Varshana Mataji. Hare Krishna to you.
May all your wishes come true.
yeah. Go ahead, Neeral Prabhu. Sing it for us.
May all your good wishes come true. Hare Krishna bless you. Hare Krishna to you.
Thank you so much.
And now Varsha Mataji gave us a big smile.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wow, our good fortune to have you in the call.
Yes.
And what could be more more important than the topic that we discussed today, the importance of having senior people with us.
Yes, Mataji.
Krishna chose and arranged this
Yes, appropriate, absolutely
very
appropriate.
nicely. Yeah. So what we learned from here is that as youngsters, not that I'm young, but that we should be more patient with the elderly, right? Because we have our own pressures and we tend to get carried away, but nothing to beat, right? Who knows, we might need the old man to tell us how to handle mounds of jaggery.
Yes, Mataji, means I would like to mention that in this case means like when I used to read with Varsha Mataji, she helped me a lot in this manner, like how to handle everything. And nowadays I miss her so much, means not here, but that reading.
So you can start your reading group. Who's stopping you to?
No, Mataji, Varsha Mataji is so ahead of me, means I have to catch up, means her first, and then we can start reading again. And the time difference, that is the main thing.
Okay, so Varshana Mataji, Rinku Mataji is wishing you happy birthday from the Facebook call, and so is Shraddha-devi Dasi, your god sister.
She already called me.
I'm sure everybody who's watching has those wishes. They're just not typing it over there.
Thank you
so
so
hope
much.
You had a wonderful cyber birthday celebration on Facebook.
It's already over, Mataji. It's like night at Varsha Mataji's place.
Well, every day you take birth, right? Every moment we take birth because the body changes.
Cells are dying and then
they are being created. Yeah. Every 6 months we have a new body. It's just that it's older than what it was 6 months ago.
Birthday actually reminds us to be a little more cautious. Don't waste your time.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have time now with you.
Yes, that we should feel the urgency. And this coronavirus is making everybody feel that urgency. You don't have to have, cross some decades to get that urgency, because anybody can plonk and die anytime.
Yeah.
Like that. So, yeah. But good. All right.
Thank you so much.
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha gopremanande hari hari bol. Okay, have a wonderful Krishna conscious day and a Krishna conscious birthday, Varshana Mataji, and wonderful to all of you.
Thank you so much.
As well as on Facebook. Hari Krishna, Danvat Nam.
Hari Krishna.